Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Hi if you're new, and welcome to my May reading wrap up. I read 8 books in May, and although this is less than I would normally read in a month, work, life, everything happened, the enjoyment factor was just still as high. I read some books that I absolutely loved in May, so I'm going to dive straight in. I've only got 4 physical books to show you because I have been listening to audiobooks or I've read on my Kindle. I've returned 1 to the library, so let's just go for it. The first book, every time I do a sit down video, this one causes a distraction, and I admit I thought he was going to take a run upstairs, and with his arthritis we don't let him do the stairs in case he hurts himself, but he's just decided to be a bit of a pickle this morning and just sit on the stairs. Just every time I go to film a sit down video, you'll see in my haul next week, which I filmed yesterday, we ended up playing fetch. Just every time I do a sit down video, it's like, Mum, you're giving someone else or something else, as in the camera, you're undivided, playing with me. He's rolling on the floor now on his back, trying to get my attention. Anyway, apologies. First book I read was Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldry. This was a 5-star anticipated read for me, purely based on all the hype on BookTube. I had to find out for myself, and you know what, I was not disappointed. I was intrigued at what a cozy book was going to be, because to me that's almost, is it just a bit boring? No, I love this, I really did. So we join Viv, who's an orc, and she's been a warrior. She's now settling down and she's going to open a coffee shop in a place they don't even know what coffee is. We join her as she's got troubles with the locals. She ends up taking on staff, making friends, and there's a little romance that begins to blossom. I love this, I really did. Now I have got a dedicated reading vlog to this and a prequel, so I'm not going to talk an awful lot about this, but do you know what? Would definitely recommend, was definitely a good time. Then I read Bloom, which is a graphic novel. This is the one I have returned to the library. This was beautiful. It really was. I hadn't heard of it before. I just saw the cover of it in the library. I thought, oh, I wonder what Bloom is. Oh, it's a graphic novel. Oh, why not? And it was just lovely. So we join Ari, who's a teen lad, and he's basically helping. He's working in family business in the bakery. However, he's in a band. He wants to go and explore that passion, basically. Wants to get out, he doesn't want to be in a bakery, he wants to move on and have a life. So they basically start on working on replacing him, and then Hector comes in. Now Hector is a sweetheart. Obviously the two end up connecting, we see where that develops, and they're both dealing with other issues in their family as well, with friendships and family concerns, as well as personal feelings for each other. It was really emotional, but it was a really lovely graphic novel. And it was, the graphic novel itself, excuse me, was in a kind of like a teal colour palette, which has made it really quite a beautiful reading experience. So yeah, definitely would recommend that. Then I read Icebreaker. Again, this was on my Kindle. I'm sorry I haven't got a copy of this to show you. This was a very hyped BookTube romance, and I was a bit unsure if I was going to like it or not, and I really got into it. Really spicy, a lot of naughty scenes, so if that's not for you, don't read it. But yeah, I like the romance there. So we have Anastasia, who's an ice skater, and Nathan, who's the head of his ice hockey team. She wants to compete professionally, so her focus is on the ice skating. Basically something happens and they end up having to share a rink, the ice skaters and the ice hockey team, which of course initially doesn't go so well. You've got enemies to lovers, basically, as the main trope, and I just love the relationship build. Again, they had issues in their personal lives, they were helping each other through it, and I think they're both just really sweet characters as well. Definitely would recommend. I have to say, I really enjoyed that. Another graphic novel, Giant Days. Now, who's this by again? I've forgotten already. John Allison, Lissa Trayman. I like this a lot, more than I thought I was going to. So we joined Suzanne, Esther and Daisy, and they've just started university together. They're completely different personalities, but they gel, they're friends, they're having a great time, they're experiencing new things at university. This is definitely a series that I am going to continue with. I really enjoy this. It did make me laugh. I really liked the illustrations in it, and yeah, definitely would recommend. What's next? Again, I did a graphic novel reading vlog with this and Bloom, so I don't want to tell you too much in case you've already seen that or you're going to see it and you don't want to hear me say all the same things twice. But yeah, for like, and even, I mean, it's been ages since I've been at university. I don't count my masters because I did that online learning. I did that with the Open University, but I don't think you haven't got to be a student to read it. It was just a really, really fun time watching these three experience university life, because it is very daunting. You are all of a sudden thrown into different things that, well, to school, at least I went to an all-girls school straight to university, and I'm like, whoa, hang on a minute, what is this? It was a good time, it was funny. Then I read, finally I finished The Intimacy Experiment by Rosie Danan. This one I'm a little bit conflicted about because I enjoyed it, I did enjoy it. However, it took me so long to read and I just didn't want to keep picking it up. When I did pick it up, I enjoyed it, but I didn't have that enthusiasm to pick it up. So for me, it was kind of like a middle in the road kind of rating wise. So we joined Naomi. She has, she's basically all for sex positive, sharing sex experiences, etc. She's her former life, basically, let's just say that's her profession. She meets Ethan, who is a rabbi. He's now running his own synagogue and he wants to bring people in. So he reaches out to Naomi and to sort of run maybe like a relationship type course at the synagogue, which of course people are like, whoa, you can't do that. They of course start connecting and they're fighting against all these people that don't understand this whole sex positive culture. I mean, the romance is sweet. Them dealing with the issues that they had was sweet. Again, I think this was just sweet and not wow. I was expecting it to be spicier than it was, given her background. Not so much. I just don't know. If you've read it, let me know your thoughts. I built this up to be as good as maybe Icebreaker and that, and for me it just fell a little bit short, which is a shame. But it's fine. It's all good. We can't win them all. However, I love the Amber in the Ashes by Sabir Tahir. I don't know. So we join Leia, who basically sees stuff happen to her family, shall we say. She ends up, I suppose, joining this sort of underground group to overthrow the people that are in charge at the moment. We have Elias, who is a soldier in this martial school, and really they should be completely apart, but obviously they connect and they meet, and there's not a romance element initially. This isn't like a romance book, please don't think that this is. It's like their story, how they end up crossing paths, and I think in the future books they're going to work together to sort of defeat this evil empire. But there's tournaments in it as well, and that for me I really quite like. You know, I like things like the Hunger Games and that, so I really enjoyed it, I think, for that reason. And it's not light and fluffy, it's very heavy. There is a bit of world building in it as well. A lot of danger, for me it was quite graphic in places about some of the deaths that sort of came up. But I couldn't put this down. I really enjoyed it. I have to continue this series now. Yeah, I need to know what happens. I do. Right, what else have we got? 2 more books here. We've got Bookshops and Bone Dust next. Now, I read that on my Kindle. This was very kindly sent to me via NetGalley. This is a prequel to Legends and Lattes. And we join Viv, basically, initially in her warrior days. Unfortunately, there's an incident which means that Viv ends up helping out in this bookshop, basically. And we join her sort of maybe reading books for the first time. And like making friends, dealing with local issues again, just while she's sort of getting herself together to go and rejoin this warrior group in Kick-Ass. It was sweet. It was another cozy read. It was just as good for me though as Legends and Lattes, I think, because it was very different. Although Viv was like the key character that was over in both books, for me it was just two completely different stories, and they were both really, really sweet. Would definitely recommend. You don't have to read either one first. For me, I still would read Legends and Lattes first, I think, and then look back after. But it doesn't matter. Go with whatever you feel the urge, because they are different stories. The last book I read was an audiobook. This was 5-star anticipated for me because it was Fonda Lee, and this is Untethered Sky. Now, I read the Bone Saga trilogy, starting with, like, you know, Jade City, Jade War and Jade Legacy. I read those last year and I loved them. I really did. I really enjoyed those books. So when I saw Untethered Sky was coming out this year, it went on my TBR straight away, and then I saw it appear on Scribd a couple of weeks ago and I'm like, yes. But then I realised it's only a novella, so it was only about 3 hours. It's like, that's fine, it's going to be just as good. And for me, it just felt a bit short. So we join Esther, who basically sees people that she cares about killed by this manticore. And she herself ends up training sort of this magical creature thing, which I'm assuming is almost like a manticore, like a massive eagle, shall we say. And it's basically about that, her connection with this. She meets another rider, has a couple of dodgy run-ins with another manticore. For me, it felt really short, and I was really disappointed. I was expecting, like, I suppose the fantasy complicated level of Jade City, but I suppose if you do just want a quick, easy fantasy, yes, I would recommend it for that. It wasn't bad. And I shouldn't have done, and the thing is, I'm really worried I'm going to do this with Yellowface by R.F. Kuang, compare it to the Poppy War. They're completely different books set in completely different worlds, so I shouldn't have built up Untethered Sky to be the same level as Jade City. I should have gone in that completely open just to read what it was, and I didn't, and I think that's what affected my enjoyment of it. So it wasn't bad. It was good. I gave it a 3 out of 5 stars because I keep weighing up the, did I unfairly judge that as I was reading it, because I was just comparing it to Jade City. But anyway, that's my reading wrap up for May. I feel I've waffled on a little bit at you for 8 books. I do apologise. If you've read any of those books, let me know what you thought, or if any are on your TBR or you're adding any to your TBR now, let me know. Otherwise, leave me a flower emoji. It's a pretty day. I'm going to go tend to my flowers today. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.